Hello guys, and welcome to Big Al's Big Weapon, and this is a how to fight with video on my beautiful dane axe that you have here. Now this dane axe is a weapon that was typically used in the 9th century predominantly by the elites of both Anglo-Saxon and Viking society, the housecarls. The housecarls were big men like myself, big strong men who were experienced in warfare and had the money as a result to buy not only the biggest, best of weapons, but also the strongest and most durable of armour. These guys were the tanks of their time and were rightly feared because they were devastating in the battlefield. Before I show you my own interpretation of how I would fight with this weapon, I will just give you a quick rundown and brief rundown on the dimensions of this weapon. However, if you want it in more detail, I recommend that you go see my review of the dane axe video. But in brief, this axe is 48.8 inches long. That's over 4 foot tall. I'm 6'3", and I'm basically on my knees at the moment, and it's just a little bit taller than me. This is a long weapon, and it weighs a massive 7 pounds, just for about 3.2 kilos. And that makes it a very, very heavy weapon, especially when you consider that a significant amount of the weight is the blade itself. So that tells you pretty much how I'm going to show you how to fight with it, with pure aggression, using the weight and the length of the weapon to devastate your opponents. I'll see you in a minute and show you just how I would fight with it. Guys, so the first thing to know when wielding any two-handed weapon, or in fact any weapon whatsoever, is where to put the hands. Now traditionally what I like to do with two-handed weapons is I like to put my hand fairly close to the head for the majority of the time. The reason as such is it makes movements with the weapon very short and easy to do. It essentially turns it into a one-handed weapon. So if you get up close to your opponent, you can just go bang like this, bang, cut them off, bang, and make very swift and easy moves. However, this dane axe is not like wielding a two-handed sword, where that is actually a very useful technique, especially when you get up close and personal. It's still something you would do, so if someone came in really close, you can't use it in the traditional manner. So you put your hand towards the base of the axe and you just bang, you use it almost like a one-handed axe. I can do the movement pretty much one-handed. It's just that gets a lot more speed and power into it. However, what I have noticed whilst wielding a dane axe, partly because of its significant length and also because of its weight, is that is not really a viable way to wield this for the majority of the time. You really want to take advantage of its length, of its weight, and the strength of the wielder behind it, because typically you would have to be someone big and strong like myself to be able to do that. Now, I've experimented, and basically the best place I find to keep my hand is the left hand very much right at the end of the shaft. I still get that leverage movement like so by pulling my hand in, and it gets a little bit of speed and strength, but it's more of a stabilizing movement. It's just stopping this falling around all over the place, because if I was to do that, like you can see, it's all over. So it's to stabilize it at the bottom of the shaft like so. Your right hand, or your dominant hand, so if you're left-handed it'd be this way round, but if I'm right-handed, really does go quite far down to the end. So I'd say it's about a quarter of the way up. And the reason for this is that this axe is best used in a really aggressive, really psychopathic almost manner, and that is with the big wild swings, because that's essentially where the damage from this weapon comes from. Now I'll go into a little bit in a minute how to fight with this axe whilst in regiment, whilst in formation, because these kind of moves, well, they're going to kill your friends beside you as well as your enemies, right? But typically if your formation is broken, or if you're going up against an enemy whose formation is broken, so you don't need to maintain your own either, this is the perfect way, or one-on-one combat, to fight with this weapon, and that is with big swings like so. Okay, you see how I do that? It's big swings, and what you do is you just keep it going like this. You can change direction as well, not particularly difficult, and the advantage of fighting like that is that you're using the length of the weapon. I've got basically 4 foot reach here, plus a little bit in my arm, so probably 5.5 foot reach which is not too far off what a spear would give you. In fact, it probably is what a short spear would give you. So you can just go up, bang, and you can combine that with a step towards your opponent, bang, and then you've got like maybe a 7-foot reach. This makes this weapon very easy to attack opponents who are far away from you. Now, regards to defense, whilst wielding an axe like this, well, that leaves you open, but at the same time, the enemy, the opponent, ain't gonna stand in front of you and take that blow. They're gonna try and get out of the way, or they're gonna raise their shields at the very least. And if you do, bang, that shield goes down. This will really do a lot of damage. Even if they block it with a shield, the sheer impact of the weapon is gonna really shock them. Now, how would you use this in, well, I was about to say how to use this in formation, but there are other techniques as well that you can use in sort of one-on-one combat, or in combat when formation is broken. You've got these big swinging motions. Of course, you've also got the overhead motion, which is very easy. In fact, actually most of that comes from the left hand like that. Almost rest it on the shoulder if you want. Bang. Okay. And you can still make upward movements if your axe is here. You see an opportunity, why not? Take it. Of course, one of the other things that you can do is, if you're going up against an opponent that's very well protected, really good armour, shield, and you're kind of afraid to get too close, but you don't want to swing around too much, because as soon as you bounce off the shield, they're going to come for you. What you can do is, first of all, try and go over the top, on top of their shield, and you can drag the shield and then bash them with the head like that. So you can go over the top, drag the shield, and bang, okay? Of course, the main advantage of being able to go over the top of the shield as well is also you might just hit the opponent. If they raise their shield up, you've got enough length for this, as when you go over the top, to go straight over the shield and hit them anyway. Okay, so that's the advantage of doing overhead blows. So sideways blows, bang, we're doing serious damage to the opponent. But if they're very well protected, they've got a shield and they've just blocked you, you could go from the side one, bounce off, and then just go straight over the top and take them by surprise. I've got a clothesline here, so you can see how easy it is to go over the top of something. Okay? Now, one of the other sort of more specialised movements you can do is, of course, not only try and drag the shield, but you can drag their arm. So the advantage of an axe head, it's hooked, you can hook onto things. Or their legs, you can drag their legs away. And if you manage to drag their legs away, and you can do that with quite a lot of ease, and drag them because you've got so much length in the weapon, as soon as they're on the ground, bang, okay? Now, as I say, if you're in formation, the sideways blows are not going to be very useful to you. In which case, you can shorten the grip and use it almost like a one-handed axe, but that's really taken away from the advantage of wielding a weapon like this. Instead, what you do is you have your mate there, your mate here, you're all in formation, and you all raise your axes high into the air, and that's your attack. And what you do is you have a line of guys, and you're just coming in and you just go whack, 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 and every time you hit, you're stepping forwards, and you just cleave your way through them. And regarding your defense there, again, you're using the aggression, because as you can see, you can swing quite a lot at times. Okay, you can swing fairly quickly, but also on top of that, the sheer aggression is defending you. But in those kind of formations, house call formations, where you would have groups of guys with these weapons, you've got the very best armour that money can buy, and you're relying on the armour to protect you against anything that gets past your axe. Other than that, guys, that's a basic introduction on how to wield one of these. I could do a more advanced video in the future if you want, but I hope you enjoyed that for the time being. As you can see, I'm a little bit tired, but I'm not massively tired, and I've swung around for quite a bit there. I've also done a few takes to get this video, so I've done probably about an extra 20 minutes of swinging on top of what you've just seen. And you see, if you're a big strong guy, this could be a very, very good weapon for you on the medieval battlefield. Thanks, guys. See you soon. Guys, so I just forgot to mention a couple more attacks that you can make with an axe like this. Of course, we've shown you that up close you can make a really quick, very easy made strikes like this, okay, but also when close or when sort of at mid-range. Remember, you've always got this end of the weapon, so you can smash that into their face, okay, or try and drag their shield down. If it goes down, you follow it up with the axe blow, okay, but also you've got the middle of the shaft, and this is more, I suppose, more street fighting attacks more than anything. When you get close to the opponent, say someone was holding this axe, you could ram that straight into them, and as you do, you can follow it up with a knee, or if you just throw them off balance, create that distance for a bigger swing. Okay, so there are a couple of little things that I missed adding onto the video. Cheers guys.